Hi, everybody. It's always weird for the first couple seconds of a live because nobody's on there and you're just talking to yourself, but I guess we got to do something. Yeah, here at Lake Tahoe, beautiful place, beautiful people, amazing experiences. Really grateful to be able to share it with everybody out there. Yeah. And I haven't done a TikTok live in a while. Life has been busy and crazy and trying to do everything else, so it's nice to have a chance to check in with people and see how they're doing. But apparently not many people yet. Yeah, being out in California is just one of those experiences of, I don't know that I've ever found a place that I want to be more, where you can be in the coast one day, then in the desert, and then you can be in wine country, and then you can be in the mountains, you be in snow. It's just, I'd never seen anything like this. Coming up to Tahoe today, just driving over the roads it's just mind-blowing. Yeah. So I don't know how I would ever afford to live out here, but I would definitely like to figure it out, because if I could be in a place where I can ride a motorcycle most of the year, where I can ski, I can hike, I can walk, I can see the beach, I can surf, yeah. And there's a lot of criminal justice reform stuff to do out here, which makes me feel really good. Actually, I had kind of a loose job offer, but that was down in San Bernardino. So we'll look and see what happens. When I was at TikTok in San Francisco, it was really cool. I had some conversations about work, but we'll see what goes from there. Yeah, it's what day is it even? I don't even know. It's Monday, I guess. So yeah, we've got a couple days ahead of us. Yeah, I'm in Tahoe, here for tonight, and then back to Davis, going all over Northern California, trying to explore and see. Well, I'm glad your son is home. Yeah, those first few days, those first few weeks, those first few hours, like we've kind of highlighted, is really problematic and really difficult. I was in South Lake earlier, actually. Yeah, I think I'm on the northeast shore. I'm not sure exactly. But yeah, I visited TikTok the last time I was in San Francisco. I got to go speak at a corporate event, which was really cool, and had the chance to share my story and highlight the idea that it could be, social media can be a tool for positive stories and not just, dance videos, or not just negative things, or not just bullying, and really trying to continue that. And no, Courtney and I are not still together. Thank you. I appreciate saying bald is beautiful. I need to shave my head again. I just eventually had to realize that, it was not going to work trying to keep the hair. And it was also a time where I just needed to make a change in my life. So I was grateful to do that. But yeah, Tahoe, I've never been here, so I'm not sure of all the areas, but I did my Tahoe cold plunge, which was awesome. I've been really getting into the idea of like cold plunges and heat and cold kind of exchanges as an opportunity to like just shock the body and deal with inflammation and different issues. So prison reform bills. So I spoke in Virginia about the anti-profiteering bills, about the second look bill, which was the big one, which is because we don't have parole in Virginia. We're trying to give people the chance to have their sentences reviewed by the original court after 15 years. So that way, if an 18-year-old kid gets a 60-year sentence for a robbery, which actually the laws around that have changed, thankfully. Like back when I was there, you could get up to a life sentence for a robbery in which nobody was hurt, which I thought was insane. I don't use shampoo. Thank you, though. So I wasn't forced to work in the sense of like being threatened, but if I didn't work, I would lose good time and I would have to spend more time in prison. So in that sense, yeah, I was forced to work. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we're still working to try to do reform bills. I've got a buddy who's a legislative envoy for the ACLU of Virginia who does a lot of criminal justice stuff. There are a couple other organizations like the Humanization Project that are just amazing and that do really good work. And yeah, we're continuing to try to reach out and try to find a way to do things. Yes, I definitely got in some fights. I made some negative choices. Yeah, CDCR is not good. But yeah, like you said, it's a huge thing where they're starting to allow phone calls. I mean, they're starting to say that it needs to be a priority to have people have communication with their families. So I think Connecticut did it. I think California did it. They're behind in a lot of ways, but yeah. There's a whole video on that, Mouse Muggle Robin. I did a long form video and a short form video if you have those questions. So the legislators in Virginia, it really depends on which issue. Like what we've tried to do is not just focus on a partisan thing. We've tried to focus on bipartisan legislation and try to get people from both sides of the aisle, because there's no point in coming up with the best bill in the world that we know only one side will support. So we've tried to find those people that are kind of middle of the road, and that's made it really possible. Yeah, but yeah, we will continue to. I can, if you want to go to the ACLU of Virginia website, they've got a list of legislation that's really important. Like I said, the second look bill, the right to vote, which was going to be an amendment, and then the anti-profiteering bills, which I think are going to pass this year, which I think is really huge. Yeah. A reform bill is not about funding. We're not even looking for more funding. There's some issues in which we could say that, but most of these bills would actually save taxpayer money. Yeah. See, John, good to see you. Napa was beautiful. I'd never been to Napa. I'd never been to Sonoma, never been to that area. God, it's just, I mean, everywhere in California is beautiful. Like the kind of like flatlands outside of Sacramento are, maybe not the most exciting, but it's farmland, which is cool. But yeah, being able to see the mountains, being able to see the coast, like all that is just mind boggling. I did do continuing education, thankfully. I was one of the really lucky ones because I had family that could pay for me to go to college. If it hadn't been for that, I wouldn't have been able to get a college degree. I wouldn't have been able to get the education I did and have the preparation that I did. But now, thankfully, that's being expanded another second look, basically Pell Grant, which is going to give people access to at least a 2-year degree in most every situation of incarceration, which is huge. I didn't know you'd ever been there. It's one of the most amazing places. I'm just imagining it's one of those places where you've got a summer, a spring, a winter, like all year round. There's stuff to do, and that's really what I look for. Is because I remember when I went to Steamboat Springs, where my sister was in Colorado when I was younger. It was beautiful in the winter. I mean, we went out in the summer. There was, people would like bike the ski trails or do stuff, but it wasn't the same level of intensity. Whereas here, it's just amazing. Was I a loyalist to the Queen when she was still living? I definitely I did not have a strong favor one way or the other. Yeah, John, it is good to see you. Favorite food, Korean barbecue. Although, I mean, I've had some food since I've been out here that's amazing. There was some Thai last night that was just delicious. Yeah. Do I want kids? I don't think so. I thought I did for a long time, but, honestly, I have a hard enough time keeping myself in line and keeping myself in doing all the things I want to do that I'm not sure I'm in a position to have kids. It's, as much as that would seem like a positive. Yeah. I don't think prisons are haunted, but I think it's possible. I mean, we always had this thing about a ghost, and it was in C3 because it was like this one side of the tier where every time you'd walk by, it would feel like somebody was walking behind you, or it would like feel like somebody was looking at you. And guys have consistently said they felt like they saw somebody walking by, and you had a lot of people die there, and you had a lot of suffering. So if there was any truth to that, that would have been the place it was. But I'm from Canada. Favorite cheeseburger? One with a fried egg and an onion ring. The plunge was good. I really liked the plunge. That felt. What I've realized is because when I did the fire and ice, which was the ice plunge and the sauna, is that I have to like get to the point where I can just relax. Because if I keep just trying to like fight it or resist it, I don't get that effect. But like when I went back in the second time today, I finally got to the point where I just let go. And yeah, my feet were freezing and I was feeling the pins and needles, but I was relaxed into it. I had like let my body accept where I was rather than trying to like fight against it. And that's really the thing. Because if we can manage stress in that situation, we can manage stress in any situation. I would love to come to Hawaii. Please get me an invitation. Thank you very much. Every time I hear that, I have people, in prisons, people in schools saying that they show my videos to their kids, and that's amazing. If there's an impact, it makes me feel like I'm doing something positive. I have not seen Oz, but from what I've been told, it is nowhere near accurate. Yeah. Oh, really? Nobody would even go there near? Yeah. I appreciate that. Well, I'm definitely hoping to. Hey, Tony. Good to see you, sir. Oh, yeah. And my favorite correctional officer. Well, yeah, I've got a couple more speaking gigs coming up. I've got one at Washington Lee. I've got the one at South by Southwest. I've got one in D.C., and then I've got one in Boston. So, yeah. That's very cool. I'm glad. I mean, I think that the anti-bullying stuff is really looking at the root of violence and looking at the root of fear and looking at the root of those things, which unfortunately we don't talk about, especially in the communities that tend to have the most bullying. And it's, you have poor kids, you have rich kids, you have all kinds of people, but certain people have access to services and have access to counselors and other people don't. And that's really where the difference comes in is if we can provide those services universally, we can make a big difference. Green Bay, Wisconsin. I thought it was cold in the lake today, but I got a feeling it's really cold in Green Bay. Weirdly, the most accurate prison movie I would say would be Shawshank. And it's not that it's like the details are accurate, it's that it captures the feel, the just daily normal feel of prison and the fact that it's the same day after day after day and it's not exciting, but sometimes it's terrifying, and other times it's wonderful and you feel like camaraderie. It's just probably the best way I can describe it. It doesn't fit any of the narratives. It's not constantly anything. Just like out here in the world, you can have the best job in the world and have a shit day, and you can have, the worst job in the world and have a great day. And it's really kind of working about that. Oh yeah, and I am speaking at the Virginia Library Association, and I am speaking for the Virginia Physicians Association. I've got a bunch of different things coming up that, yeah, it's hard to remember. But thank you for reminding me of that. I don't want to forget. That's in later this year sometime. To live outside of Virginia. So I do think in August of 2024, I'm going to be off probation completely, and I'll be able to move freely. I'll be able to leave the country, able to do that. And I do think I have intention to live outside. I want to move somewhere one time, at least once, even if I come back to where I'm from, because I've never done that. I've never chosen to just pick up and leave and move somewhere, and I need a reason to do that. So maybe it's I go do something crazy in in Costa Rica where my dad lived, or maybe it's I moved to California because I get to ride my motorcycle every day. Maybe it's I moved to Wisconsin because there's an incredible opportunity working with correctional reform there. I'm really not sure. Yeah. Some people would spend nothing on commissary. Some people had nothing. Other people spent hundreds of dollars a week. There was always a limit of what you could spend. And it depended on your good time. Like the highest good time level, you could spend like $250 a month. The next one would be like $200. I don't remember the exact numbers, but what guys who had a lot of money would do is just send money to different people and have them pick stuff up. Yeah, thank you. I'm working on it. Like I said, I got that job offer in San Bernardino. We'll see if that could turn into something bigger. I also, last time I was in LA, met with some producers, which would be obviously a different project, but would put me in a position to do more advocacy work out here, which I think would be great. NorCal is amazing. So I have a buddy in Sacramento, and the last time I came out, he was like, "Oh, we're going to go to Tahoe. It's going to be great. Don't worry about it." And it didn't happen last time, so we had to do it again. And yeah. Is my ex active in my life work related? Not work related. I mean, she's a journalist. We're in communication. We're not. I think it's one of the things where we're trying to figure out how to be friends and try to figure out how to walk that line. But yeah, everybody's told me San Bernardino isn't the best. At the same time, it's probably the most affordable, and it's where the job opportunity is. So it's kind of one of those toss ups. I'd love to live in Santa Barbara, but I don't think I'm going to get a job there, and I don't think I'd be able to afford it. But how to make break and explain to everybody what it is. Yeah, we can do a video about food. I actually have a bunch of ramen noodles at home. Somebody dropped them off and was like, "Here," I did it as a prank, and I was getting ready to get rid of them or throw them away or donate them, but I was like, you know what, I just need to do that. What I'm thinking about doing now that I have all the cooking stuff is show what we'd do in prison and then show what I would do now, throw it in a wok with some oil and some veggies and see if we can make it good. But yeah, I do. I have to check in with my PO when I go out of state. So I had to do that this time. I have to do it every time, and I think she's honestly getting annoyed because I go out of state so often. Next month, it'll be 10 days for South by Southwest, and then one night for DC. I think that's it. I really want to go down and see my grandfather, but he's having some health issues, so I'll have to figure that out. Interesting. My video gave you perspective during the pandemic. That was one of the things that really struck me was how everybody in the world was having the experience that prisoners have of being kind of cut off and stuck at home and isolated and struggling in that way. And that's one of the things that on the one hand, either we got really good at or we got really bad at because we became used to being maladjusted. So, yeah, I will definitely do the cooking playlist thing, especially on the long one. I want to do that because it's hard to figure out how to do longer form content that people engage with. Because I can tell the same stories and they tend to not get very good views. And there's a lot of things I like to talk about and like to do, and interviews I like to do that I think are really awesome. So, one of these days. Probation parole was 3 years, so from August 16th of 2021 till August 16th of 2024, and then I'm free and get to go through the world and do whatever. Thank you, Dietrich. Yeah. So I am, I have an LLC that I do my consulting and social media and stuff through, and then I have, the nonprofit that I do a lot of work for. We do our prison reentry stuff, and we just found some academic research that says that it's actually problematic to do peer stuff in juvenile facilities. So we're trying to figure out how to frame that or how to structure that in a way that will be supported by evidence. Because I get what they're saying, that a lot of times the kids can identify not with the message, but with the messenger, which can then lead them to say, oh, well, I can do something. I can go to prison and still change my life later. And that was definitely the experience I had with my dad, because my dad told all me his gangster stories and his crazy stuff. And I was like, well, I can get away with all that. If my dad can do this and do that, well, I can get away with that too. And I think that was really kind of native. Oh, congratulations, Tony. You're off this year. Tony was another one of the 100 people pardoned by Northam. So he was let out of prison, and his 3 years will be up April 3rd, so he'll be a free man. Yeah, I will definitely be there, John. We've got a whole prison talk group gathering in LA this year, I think in June. So we're all going to get together. I'll get to meet John for the first time and some other people, and I'm excited to do that. Am I afraid of death? Ideally, I would say our role in life is to come to peace with our death, and to live as fully as possible while we're here. I don't say that I feel that way every day, but I definitely am one of those people who feels like if we forget that we're going to die one day, we'll forget to make the best of our lives because we won't appreciate it. We won't recognize that it's a limited resource. Yeah. Did anyone give me money to buy things in prison? I was incredibly lucky to have mom and friends and family and people that supported me. So I was never really without. And I had times where I hustled and I worked and I had plenty of stuff and I would tell them not to send me any money. But a lot of times they would do it anyways. And I was able to kind of stock up. And yeah, I was always comfortable. And I was one of the really lucky ones. And that was why I tried to share that with other people and try to continue to do so. Thank you, Tony. I'm doing my best. I think we all are. But yeah, I just wanted to check in with everybody. It's been a while. But I hope you guys have a wonderful night. And I'm going to go try to do something cool in Tahoe. See y'all later.